So I know basics of Excel. Now I have to excel through this talk from Mr. Abhay Gadia ji. Very warm welcome, and I could come to know that you are also from Big Four, and definitely your exposure and your expertise and your erudite knowledge in this field will definitely enlighten all the members, including the senior members, because they are the ones who are susceptible to more disciplinary cases if at all they are not updated technologically. So thank you very much for this opportunity that is given to me, and I am also looking forward to have a great session today, and wish you all the best to the members also for having this session today, and thank SIRC and the secretary and the chairman for choosing this subject and the right person to present a paper on this. Thank you very
much. Welcome remarks, so that you also kind of get a feel of the subject. Abhishek, may I now request to kind of the speaker and we take things forward.
Yeah, thank you. A very good morning to all the viewers. Good morning to our dynamic chairman, C.A. Dungarchan Jain, our senior most regional council member, and someone who I sit next to in the council who always keeps motivating me and advising me, C.A. Pamanaj sir, who gave a very lovely opening address. And of course, a speaker for the day, C.A. Abhay Gadia, who's joining us live from Pune. As C.A. Pannaraj sir rightly said, and many of you who attended yesterday's program on the disciplinary committee proceedings and the code of ethics, the new code of ethics, where we had our past president, C.A. Manoj Fadnis, had addressed us. One common theme that went about yesterday is constantly, whenever we have studied, we have heard an auditor is a watchdog, he is not a bloodhound. But increasingly, regulators are expecting us to be bloodhounds also. So normally, while us auditors, we do not, or rather we have not in the past, gone towards forensic techniques. We have not gone towards techniques that go beyond the basics of audit. Suddenly, we are finding ourselves in a position that if we don't do it, we are pointed fingers at saying you have not done a job. So whether it's right or wrong is a matter that is definitely up for debate. And I, with all the chartered accountants, as are my chairman and my council colleague, that yes, it is a little harsh, but the reality is that it exists today and we have to learn to deal with that. And that is why the topics such as forensic audit using tools like Excel is more important, because Excel is a common tool available to all of us. And as our chairman rightly said, I used to think I knew Excel very, very well, because I used to use Excel constantly on a daily basis. I knew all the shortcuts, all the techniques. Then I met my chairman, who is an author also of a book on Excel. When every day he'll teach me one new trick that I was not aware of, then I realized, okay, my Excel knowledge is only 50%. We have been organizing regular programs on Excel. We have got overwhelming response from all the members also. Slowly, my knowledge is decreasing only. I can tell that the percentage of my knowledge is much lesser, even though I'm learning more. I think that, as chairman beautifully put it, every time you attend an Excel seminar, you just realize that you know less and you learn more. So I think that is the real takeaway. And I'm sure today we have the appropriate speaker for both forensics and Excel, who is C.A. Abhay Gadia, who I have the privilege of introducing. C.A. Abhay Gadia hails from Pune and is an accomplished auditor and data analytics coach with more than 16 years of experience, and he has worked with the various big fours and multinationals, including Bank of New York Mellon in the internal audit and data analytics team. He was in Deloitte in the statutory audit. He was in PricewaterhouseCoopers for the audit and assurance team, and he was also in the Deloitte team for internal audit and SOX, that is the Sarbanes-Oxley Act, which is very famous in the US for listed companies there. He is also a person who has experience across various industries, BFSI, automotive, manufacturing, FMCG, IT, pharma, and many more. He's a regular speaker. He's conducted classroom workshops and online courses regarding analyzing and visualizing the data to extract business stories. And he's conducted various workshops, including at several ICAI branches, Pune, Pimpri, Nanded, Akola, and across the entire Western region. He's conducted workshops at all the big four and very leading companies as well. And in fact, he's a 4th merit rank holder in his HSC, and he's won in 2015 the BNY Mellon Global Innovation Award, a really unique award that he has won. He's also a very, very down-to-earth person and a very friendly person. I was interacting with him very briefly before the program started and seemed to get off on a very, very right foot with him. So we are all looking forward to his wonderful session. I'm sure he'll be teaching us many new things that we can benefit out of. So with this, I welcome CA Abhay Gadia for a wonderful session. I welcome you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Abhishek. Only thing is, there are no materials for today's meeting. Just because for members to be aware, Abhayji is going to take us a live demonstration of how things are going to work. Abhayji, over to you.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Dungar sir, Abhishek sir, Pannaraj sir, for that nice introduction and definitely building up the things for this today's session. So definitely, as you have said, like forensic audits and our routine audits, the line of demarcation between this is getting very thin day by day. So even if we are saying that forensic audits using Excel, so some of the tools or techniques which we are going to see today, you can definitely apply in your routine audits also. And I would try to keep it less technical. So I don't want you to be bogged down by any kind of real big formulas or something of that sort. So people may not be able to immediately understand in this 2-hour session. So I will keep like something which you can do with the mouse. So simple mouse button clicks, you can do it in Excel and how you can audit the things. So that is one of my objective using these tools. And definitely, as Dungar sir said, so this is something like sharing of knowledge. So for me also, it is like something I learn a new things when I actually share my knowledge in this webinar. So it is not like I'm only coaching to other guys, but this is something you will have to also understand. When you teach somebody else, you actually learn more rather than the person who is actually taking the knowledge from you. You get to know the different thought process. So you might be, while you are learning, you think about in a one standard approach only. But when you try to teach somebody else, his thought process also comes into picture. And you will also start visualizing like what kind of questions will come to you. So that is actually a more learning process for the speaker, I would say, like than the attendance. So I would definitely encourage each one of you also to volunteer and start sharing knowledge. That is something I really like about this webinar, honestly, I would say. So with that, I will just quickly start sharing my screen and let's get started on this. Give me a second. Okay. So I hope everyone is able to see my screen. I will just get started on this. So this was just my brief introductions, which Abhishek has already given up. So before I start my sessions, I would like to give a disclaimer or kind of answer a question which is very frequently asked after each of the session. So which version of Excel we should definitely use it. So again, I'm not advertising any kind of Microsoft product, but this is something just like to tell you like Office 365 Professional Edition is very useful. So if you are using old versions of Excel 2007, 10, I would recommend you to shift to this Office 365. It is not even costly that. And the reason behind using Office 365 is like you will get the regular features. So there are regular updates on monthly basis by Microsoft nowadays. So you will get continuous updates if you are using Office 365. If you are using 2009 or 10 version, which is a standalone version, you won't get those updates. Now, currently, whatever features I'm going to show you are using Pro Plus editions. Some of the features are only specific to that edition. Other features which are star marked over here are available in all the editions of Microsoft Office 365. Now, one of the features which is like Inquire add-in. So this is one of the very useful tool for forensic audit purpose. So it is available only in Pro Plus. So definitely try to shift if it is possible. Otherwise, you can just have a look at it and then decide. Then another tools which have actually started coming from 2010 onward was Power Query, Power Pivot, and Dynamic Array Formula, which is the latest one. So Power Query is actually a tool, just to give a brief introduction, it is a tool to automate your task. So if you're regularly auditing certain areas, or even if your data which you're getting for forensic audit purpose, it is not in a proper format. So you need to clean it. So if you're doing it steps which are like manually performed in Excel, there won't be any audit trail. So whenever you are going for any court where you want to present your case, or somebody else is actually going to review your file, so there won't be any audit trail in that. So Power Query will help you to keep that audit trail starting from the data where you have received what is the source, until whatever analysis you have performed. So that entire steps would be there. So somebody can't say that you have manipulated with certain analysis and all that. Everything will be get recorded. So there won't be like, even if you change a particular alphabet, that also will get recorded. So that will help you in doing this forensic analysis and even your data cleaning activities or automation stuff. So it is not only for forensic tool, but for regular audit purpose also it will be useful. Next is a power pivot. Now many of you would be already using like pivot tables, but now power pivot is something way beyond that. So normally in Excel, you will be have a limitations of 10 lakh rows of data. And if you load that data set, Excel will become very heavy. So you won't be able to perform proper analysis. So power pivot is like you bring in the data from multiple different sources till 4 GB of data. So it can go beyond 10 lakh rows. So you can even load the 20 lakh rows of data, which we will see in later part of this webinar. So you can load that entire data set in the file, Excel file itself, and start performing your pivot table analysis, just like your regular pivot table. Just drag and drop it, and you can analyze huge volumes of data in Excel itself. You don't need any other software for that purpose. So that is also a free tool, which is being provided by Microsoft only. So if you are using Excel 10, 13, you will have to install it separately. But again, if you are using Office 365, it's everything is inbuilt. Dynamic array formulas, this is something, a new formula engine, which has been started in recent versions. So we will now, let us quickly go and see what is the next thing. So again, like now before starting these sessions, I want to bifurcate two things. When I say forensic audits using Excel, there are two different things. Forensic audit of Excel files. Here the keyword is off. And second is like forensic audit through Excel. So here we are using as a tool to perform the analysis. So the main difference between is like whenever you are going for a forensic audit, you will get the files who have been prepared by somebody else. You need to audit those files. You need not perform the analysis on that data, but whatever forensic errors or any, let us say, kind of evidence you need to gather from that Excel files, you will be doing forensic audit of Excel file. So what are the tools, what are the techniques you can use in the Excel itself that we will look at? These are the certain techniques which we are going to see in our today's webinar. And second thing is like forensic audit through Excel. Here you will be performing your file. Here you will take the source data from the person who is providing you for audit purpose. You will perform your own analysis. This file will be created separately from the original source data. So one thing you will always have to remember when you are performing forensic audit, don't touch the original data set. So whatever data set has been provided, keep it separate, perform analysis on a separate file, create a separate copy out of it, and then start performing analysis. So here comes our forensic audit through Excel. So some of the routine audit steps which you might be performing is like identifying the gaps or missing items in that a particular sequence of data set, where you're expecting there should be a proper sequence, there should not be any gaps. So how do you identify gaps? Which are the missing items? That we will look at. And duplicate checks. So definitely there is a kind of a conditional formatting options available in Excel, where you can identify duplicates in a single column. But let us say when I want to identify duplicates using multiple columns together, then again you will have to manually join all the columns. So instead of all that doing manual activities, how we can use Power Query for that purpose? So we'll look at multiple columns duplicates we will see. Then next thing is stratification. So whenever you get any data for analysis, don't start performing analysis immediately. So let us first try to understand the data profile. So we will be bifurcating into a separate buckets of the data set which we are receiving. From that, whether we can gain any insights, and then we can focus on the red flags which are getting shown over there. That will be used for stratification. The Pareto principle is also very similar to stratification, but it is like focusing on the 80% of the data, which will give us like a lot of results. So that is the 80-20 rule, which we are going to see how we can perform using Excel. Then the next is a relative size factor test and Benford's law. So Benford's law, I will just give you a brief introduction later on, but relative size factors we will perform using our simple Excel tools only. So now with that, let me move to the next one. Now this is something inventory of files. Now when you are going for an audit, there are two things which will most frequently happen. First thing is you won't get any data set. You are going to chase with a lot of auditors to provide us the data on timely basis, and then we'll start auditing. That will be one of the case. Second case might be you will be given so much of data that you just get bogged down. You get like really confused. What is really the relevant files which I should be start looking at. So there are a lot of files you need to keep track. You are not really sure like how many files you have received, whether those are really relevant or not. And again, you will have to keep a track of it. So even for your audit evidence purpose also, you need to keep track so many files I have received on so and so date for forensic purpose also. So how do you keep a track? So are you going to maintain that track in a manually in Excel, keeping whenever you receive a new file, you will update that table? No, don't do that. So how do we do that inventory of files automatically in Excel? We will quickly see now. So let me quickly open a blank Excel file. Now here I don't have any kind of a tracker maintained. So let me go to the sample folder. Now here if you see, all the files have been stored. So I want to keep an inventory of all the files which I'm going to receive from auditing. So I will simply copy the path. I will go a little slow now. I will go to this Excel. Now within Excel, Office 365 Power Query is inbuilt and that appears under Data tab. On the left hand side, whatever options you see over here, those are related to Power Query. So now first thing, how do I keep inventory? So let us go to Get Data, From File and From Folder. Simple steps, just select the From folder, paste the path of the folder from where you want to keep the inventory of the files. So I will simply click OK. And immediately you can see that this entire list of all the files in the folders or subfolders is getting displayed over here. So let me click on Transform Data and a new Power Query window will open up. So here you can see this file is a Power Query window and the backend is the Excel one. So whatever queries you are going to build up, it will be stored in the same Excel file itself. There won't be a separate file for your Power Query. But here you can quickly see that the entire list of all the files have been stored up. And this is a dynamic one. So let me remove the columns which I don't require. So this is a technical thing. I will simply remove it. This is also a technical thing I don't want. I will simply remove it. And now I will click Close and Load. So once I click Close and Load, immediately you can see a new Excel sheet got created and it lists down all the files stored in that particular folder, along with the folder path, along with the date when it is created, then when it is accessed, type of the file. So it won't be only for Excel file, even for PPT files or even like, let us say for PDF files, everything will get stored. And this is a dynamic thing. So let us say a new files I have received. So I will simply copy this for an example and paste it over here. So this is a new file I've just created, copy pasted. I can simply go back to my Excel in Data tabs. When you click on this queries pane, a new query pane will get displayed. So whatever queries you have created will get displayed over here. Now, since I added one more file into that particular folder, I will simply go right click this and click refresh. So you would immediately see that a new file has got added over here. So you don't have to manually update this tracker. So everything will get updated automatically based on the files you created. And then later on, you can add any of the columns manually. You can save this as a values also, and you can start adding the columns over here to keep a track if additional remarks you need to keep it. This will also help you to identify what are the relevant files for you and whether you have received all the files or not. So this is a quick thing just to get you a warm up on the Power Query part. You'll have to simply click the folder link, go to Power Query window and close and load. So nothing complicated in this. So this is a inventory of files. You are going to keep a track of it. Now our next step, so when you receive all the files, you need to identify which files are really relevant for you. So when an Excel file has been received, a lot of files may not be really relevant. A lot of files might be critical. A lot of files will have a complex formulas in it. So you need to bifurcate that files into based on the risk scoring part. So which I will quickly show you how you can do a risk scoring for an Excel. So let us say the magnitude of the risk or magnitude of misrepresentation in that particular file is very critical or very high. So based on this kind of a matrix visual, you can bifurcate based on that inventory, what files are really rudimentary or light formulas are there. There are not a lot of complex formula. You can decide based on this risk rating, what are the relevant files for you to focus on. Whether there is a high risk or whether there is a medium risk or low risk, you can decide once you create that inventory of the files and then start looking at that file. So once you decided on that, let us say there is a high risk file which you want to look at it. So now you will normally go and ask the auditee, how did you really perform? So let us say this kind of a calculation in this file. What is your source data? What are the steps you have performed? Who has really reviewed it? And all that will start as a kind of a just a kind of a questioning that particular person. But again, it is really difficult for a person to explain everything. So it reminds me of one of the like simple event in my schools or even like in classes. Whenever there was a complex formula, somebody like very smart person used to like write everything on his hand or in a rough paper. And when somebody goes and asks him to explain me all the steps, whatever you have performed. So he used to show this rough paper or this is like something I have performed it and this is the final result. So it becomes very difficult for that person to explain all the steps one by one. So for that purpose, there is a kind of a framework you should ask or you should start keeping a track, which is called as a SIPOC. So whenever you are getting any files, once you have an inventory of the files, start looking at the high risk files. What was the supplier who has really supplied that particular data set to you? In what format you have supplied it, whether it is through email or whether it is directly coming from a particular system. So you can keep it this entire in a proper framework. Who is the supplier? What is the input? So what kind of files, whether it is a text file, whether it is an Excel file, whether it is a CSV file, what kind of input has been provided, where it has been stored. So you can keep that entire track, what kind of a process or what kind of steps he has performed it. So that brief process walkthroughs, you can ask for that person to explain it, and you can also document that. And then finally, what is the output from that source data till the final output and who is actually using it. So who is the upstream and downstream, everything is getting displayed over here. So this supplier, something you can keep tracking in Excel file also. So let me quickly show you some kind of a format which we normally follow in audits also. So this kind of a format, you can also follow it. So here you can see like who is a process owner. So this kind of a tracker, something you can keep it for your own audit purpose. We can even recommend to the auditees like who are your auditing purpose. So internal audit, so process improvement purpose. You can ask them to keep these details, process name, process owner name, business division, something, a introduction about the process which you are going to audit. And SIPOC model, here also you can create a kind of a template. So mode of receipt, received from whom. So brief details, it will give you a snapshot of how the working is happening in that particular file. What is really the relevance of that file, Excel file, which you are going to audit. So this is like forensic audit of an Excel. So you will keep a track. This will be also for your evidence purpose also. Whenever you are going to present it to somebody else, you can tell them this was the relevance of the files. This was something which has been processed from that. So this kind of template, you can start keeping it. So for your forensic audit purpose. So this is something SIPOC, you can create it. And let us move on to the next thing, which is a watch window. Now I have the inventory of the files. I've identified which is the high risk one. I've started also asking, keeping us track on SIPOC also. So now when you are working on auditing the Excel files.
Yeah, he stood in central. That central, upper central. So he stood in central. I am in the south.
Can you please keep on muting? Any question, just ask me. So otherwise, please. Okay. So now, when I said like you have kept the inventory of the files, you have identified which are the high risk files. You have also got started with the SIPOC, maintaining like all the relevant data about that particular file. And now you are actually starting working on the files. Now it will happen that you are not only going to work on a single file. So it will be like multiple files you are going to start auditing that file. So you will sometimes get confused. So where you are actually really working, you want to keep a track of files where you are actually working on that. So how do you keep a track? So this is a simple feature available in Excel, watch window, which we will now quickly see it. So let me open one of the files here. I will keep the other file open only over here. Now here you can see that this is one file I have opened up. So let us say if I open some another file also, let us say Inquire basic. So imagine that you are working on multiple files together and you want to keep a track of a particular cell or a particular file which you want to keep coming back. So always, every time you will say like you will do alt tab every time. So it will becomes confusing for you. So what is the alternative way you can keep track? So for that purpose, go to formulas. Under formulas, there is this feature called as watch window. So here you can quickly see that currently I've already added certain cells, but let me quickly remove this. So let me first put it like this. We'll simply remove this stuff which I've already added. Now, how this watch window is really useful, let us quickly see that. let us say now here at the total which I want to track it. So this particular number I want to track. So these are the 4 numbers which I want to continuously keep track. I will simply select them and click add watch, and that's fine. So immediately you can see all of those 4 cells will get added. So even the workbook name, sheet name, sale reference, and value is also getting added over here. So now let us see if I move on to the next tab or a next file itself. I can simply click on this and I can come back to this particular cell. So this is a total of this company one, but let us say there is a grand total consolidated figure, or let us say profit figure you are going to track completely. So how do I add that? I can simply add this final number also. Simply click on add watch. These cells will get added. So if any number gets changed in another tabs, this number will get automatically updated. I don't have to switch back every time to this consolidated file. So let us test this. So let us see if I change the numbers over here. So currently, if you see, this is 55 million. So if I change a certain numbers over here, let us press Control Enter. So immediately you can see this number has changed. So this will be also useful to you when you want to track any profit number or tax number, or let us say if you are finding a difference between asset side and liability side of balance sheet, and you want to identify whether the difference is coming 0 when you are preparing anything in an Excel. So you can keep a track of this. If there is any difference, you can immediately click on that. It will take you to that particular cell. So it will help you when you are performing your data analysis or you're performing forensic audit using Excel on multiple Excel files. So even if I move to the another Excel file, let us see if I'm currently in this particular file, and I will simply go to this formulas. In a second, it's hanged a little bit. So here you can see this watch window is still appearing even if you are working on multiple files. If I click on this, sometimes there is a problem with this, but most of the times, even if you're working on multiple files, it will take you to that particular file. So currently, since I'm sharing in latest version, there is a bug, but if you are using it normally in previous versions of Excel 2013 or 16, if you are using multiple files, if you click on this, it will take you to that particular file itself. So currently in this latest version, there is a little bug, but otherwise it will works fine. So if you are using multiple files, you can go through this one. And now this, all the watches will still appear here till the time the file is opened. So if you close this file, let us save this. And if I open this file again, it will appear up here. So you don't have to continuously add that again and again. So here you can see all the watch items are still appearing up over there. You can quickly see the results of whatever particular cells you are working on that. So this is really helpful when you are working on multiple files on watch window. So any questions till now? I will just wait for a few seconds before moving on to the next one. So I would like to keep it a little interactive. So most of the times it is difficult in online session to keep it interactive, but I will go a little slower. Okay, so let me move on to the next one, which is comparing the file. So whenever you are doing a forensic audit, you will go and compare what is the original data set or original file. Let us say hard copies, original invoice you have received and the forged invoice you have received. So you are going to compare one document with another document. So this will become very easier when you are verifying the physical document. Just putting the 2 documents in front of you and then comparing it, you will be able to identify the differences in the forged documents very quickly. So this is something similar to an example like taking, like you might have seen while being a child, you might have been used this kind of a queries, like kind of a quizzes. So you want to identify differences between these 2 pictures. So this is one picture and this is two pictures. So when you are digitally verifying this and if you are doing Alt Tab, so it becomes very difficult to identify the differences between 2 files. So if I ask you to identify differences in these 2 pictures, if I do it like this, it is very difficult to identify. But instead of this, if I try to put the pictures just side by side, it will become very easy to identify this kind of differences. So how we can do this same stuff in an Excel file itself. So if we can put this stuff just like side by side and then we are able to compare it, it is very useful. So how do we do that? So we'll now quickly see that. But before that, I would recommend you to start using multiple dual monitors. So personally, right now also I'm using dual monitors. What is definitely a use of this one? So first thing is you will be able to compare both the files in front of you easily, very easily. It is not very technical thing to set up this stuff. Even monitors are not costly these days, hardly like 5,000 or 6,000 you will get a monitor. Just like you connect your projector to your laptop, immediately you can connect your monitor to your laptop and start using it. So it becomes very easy to perform analysis comparison purpose when you have a dual monitors. Even when you are attending any particular trainings also, you can put your trainings on one particular monitor, and even you can simultaneously work upon that supporting files, whatever is provided with the training. So this is something which I highly recommend you. And once you start using it, I would tell you that it becomes very addictive. So you won't be able to even like feel that you are missing something when you don't have any dual monitors. So this is one thing I highly recommend you. Even if you are going for audit purpose, ask them to provide an additional monitor and you can start using it. But let us say if you don't have an additional monitor, how do you do that? So you will have to use an Excel feature. So let me go back to my Excel file. Let me quickly open one of the Excel file. So this
Abhay,
is
sorry, I think I got disconnected. What I was asking is, would you prefer to take the questions at the end?
Sure, no problem. So I will take the questions at the end. That sounds fine. Sure. So, okay. So here, if you see, this is the file which I've opened up, and there are multiple tabs in this file. First thing is I want to compare the tabs within the same file itself. So if I do like control page up and page down, again, it is very difficult to compare it. How I can open an instance of the same file multiple times? So I can simply go to view and click on new window. So immediately you can see a different window has been opened up. So same file has been opened twice. So here is the company one, and here you can see, I can go to company two, I can quickly compare it. But again, it is very difficult. So whenever you open a new file, there will be added a suffix at the end of the names. So at the top, you can see 2 has been added. And now how I can compare it? So one file just putting on the same screen itself. Now, since I'm using currently dual monitor, this has been deactivated. So let me just stop doing the dual monitors. Give me a second. So now I will open one more time. Let me close this file. And now I will open one more instance of the same file. Let us click on new file. Additional instance has been opened. I will again go to view, and then I can click on view side by side. So immediately you can, let me minimize this. So immediately you can see that both the files have been shown on the single screen itself side by side. So it becomes very easy to compare. So you can compare one same tabs with the another file, or you can compare with another tabs with this file also. So currently you can see on the first version, I have a company 2 tab open, and another, this version, I have the company 1 file. So this becomes very easy to compare, and it is also synchronous scrolling also. So currently there are these 2 options. Synchronous scrolling is being activated. So even if I move my mouse in one of the file, the another file will get automatically moved up. So not only for the rows, even for the columns also, it will get easily moved up. So if you don't want this kind of synchronous scrolling to be done, you can stop, deactivate that. And now this synchronous scrolling will stop. So you can arrange this window in vertical format, or let us see, instead of tiled one, you can have a horizontal ones. You can have a multiple tabs opened also. So if you have more than 2 files opened, you can do this arrange all also. And you can compare this file very quickly. So even if you want to perform any auditing of the formula, let us say consolidated ones, you can compare this formula with the another task. So this comparing purpose is very useful feature available in Excel. So this is available under view tab, compare side by side, and synchronous scrolling. So you can use this one instead of using split columns or something. And whatever changes you make in any of the versions of the files, and once you save it, it will get saved in that particular file also. So currently, if you see, this is the 2 version. If I make any changes in this, let us say company 2 tabs, I will add something over here. It will automatically get updated in this version also. So you don't have to worry about that, making changes in only one of the tabs and not getting change in another ones. Once you have done with this, just save it and close the version of Excel which has 2 here. So just press Ctrl W and it will get closed. So other files will also get saved. So this is very easy way to compare your files one by one manually itself. Now this is a manual step by step to doing a comparison purpose. But again, when you have received multiple files or a file which contains a lot of sheets, lot of complex formula, how do you audit that part? So how do you audit the formulas, lot of there which are present in Excel file? How do you compare the files? So in that, there is a separate tool which is available in Excel in Professional Plus edition only. That is the Inquire adding tool. So let me now put first of all now a dual monitor, and then I will start this. Give me a second. Now let me close this and I will open another file which we can use it for our Inquire adding purpose. See, like this is the first file which has been provided to me, and there is another file which again the auditee has provided to me. So I'm opening both the files, and now I simply want to compare both of these files, what changes he might have made it. So I've got the original files and some forged file he has done it. So going and comparing each of the tabs, lot of formulas are there, so it will be very difficult to do it. So how do I compare it? Immediately, instead of doing like manually going to view and then manually comparing side by side, how do I do it? There is this Inquire add-in which is available in Professional Plus edition. So it's already inbuilt. You just need to activate it. So if you are using Professional Plus edition, go to Files, go to Options, then under Add-ins, go to this Manage, click on Com Add-ins and click Go. So here you will see this Inquire add-in. So once you click on this, it will appear as a separate tab under your ribbon itself. There are a lot of formula, lot of features available in this Inquire add-in. So let us quickly see first of all the compare files. So now if I click on compare files, I can quickly see that what I want to compare. Let us say version 1 I want to compare with version 2. I will simply select this both the files over here and will click compare. Yes, I want to save it. Let us click yes. This also I want to save it and wait for a few seconds. And immediately you can see that this comparison window at line by line, cell by cell level, formula level, everything has got displayed over here. So this is something Excel is doing it for you. So on the left hand side corner here, you can see whatever changes has happened based on the different categories, like let us say entered values, calculated values, formula values, everything has been displayed over here between these tools. So let us go one by one. For an example, let me go to formulas first of all. I will click on formula. I have unchecked all of them and clicked only on the formula. So only the changes in the formula will get displayed. So here in the first one, if I click on that, it will show me the cells in both the files. So here you can see that the formula has changed over here. So everything remains same, except the M has been changed in this particular formula. So if I click on the second one, immediately it will take me to that particular cell. So here you can see the formula in this I1 has been deleted and this is a K formula. So here it has been changed. So even if I go for this one, it will immediately get displayed whatever changes. Same way I can do it for entered values. So let me click on this entered value and all the values will get displayed. Whatever changes has happened in both the files. So doing this manually is really very complex and very difficult to do it. So using this compare tool in Inquire add-in, it is very easy to do it. So let me click on this. Immediately you can see the change what has happened. Anderson Terry and Anderson Terry, TRI and Y. So this small changes, it may not be possible to do it manually. So you can do it using this compare analysis tool. So if you want to export all of these changes, whatever has happened, and then discuss with the whatever person you are auditing, you can do that also. You can simply click on export result. Whatever changes are there, you can export that in a separate Excel file also. So let me copy this to my particular folder. Now let me close this. So this way you can perform all the different changes here, and let us quickly see what details we receive in this changes file. So here you can see all the changes which has happened in both the files have been listed. So you don't have to do it manually. Along with the sheet, along with the cell references, what was the old value, what was the new value. Doing this manually will take a lot of time. So you can do this using the Excel Inquire add-in tool. So compare is definitely a useful thing. So this is one of the tool. Next thing, let us move on to the next topic, which is a formula auditing. So now whenever you are going to get an Excel file, you will start performing the auditing of the file itself. So you will be using normal formula auditing tools. So instead of that, how you can use this Inquire adding and even formula auditing, we will quickly see. Open this file. And let us quickly see this. Now let us say this kind of some sample data set which you have received where the details have been documented. So now you need to audit this particular file forensically. So whether he has made any changes or whether the formulas are correct or not. So normally you will go and do a F2 and we'll quickly see that these formulas are correct or not. But there are still like a lot of things which person can do a fraud over here. So how do I audit this particular stuff? So now in Inquire adding, let me quickly go to this Inquire adding, and there is the first option called as workbook analysis. So let me quickly click on this workbook analysis. Let me save. Yes, I will click on save it. It will create an entire report of this file. So whatever problems which may be there, it will get displayed over here. So this entire thing also you can export it. So let me first click on this all the items and let us click Excel export. So again, I will save this. Okay, so this is fine with me. Name. I will click save. Now let me close this, and there is a separate file which has got created. And let me open this one. So this entire file has been analyzed automatically by Excel and has given us the details over here. So here you can quickly see that whether there are any linked external data set being linked. So it is getting displayed, the count is getting displayed. Whether there are any hidden sheets, that is also getting displayed. Whether there are any array formulas. So array formulas are little complex formula. For beginners, it is difficult to understand. So those are also getting displayed. So it will list down all the things which are getting listed in that file, which might be relevant for you. So one of the relevant things might be, let us say, external ones. So let me quickly, I want to see which are the cells where the external references has been given up. So this is formula referencing to external workbook. So currently there is nothing, but let us say formula stored has been text. So that also I can see it over here. Formulas with textual constants. So I can go one tab at a time. So here the linked files which has been linked has been displayed over here. DD links, nothing is there. Visible cells, hidden sheets, completely everything is getting displayed over here. So array formulas, all formulas, if there are any formulas inconsistency, you can just quickly look at this and you can identify that. So one of the relevant things which might be useful for you, let us go back to this file and I will quickly show it to you. So now here, if you see, this formula is not getting displayed. And here, if you see, the total of this is coming 14,638. But if I click on this 3 cells, it is the same one. It is not considering this particular cell, which has been stored as a text one. So how do I identify that one? So I can do that using this workbook analysis also. So the numbers which has been stored as a text won't get considered in your sum formula. So I can do that even using this workbook analysis. So here quickly, let me go to this particular cell and let us click on this with numerics, cells with numeric stored as a text. So here, once you click on this, immediately you can see along with the sheet name, cell address, everything is getting displayed. So this is a K6, this is E22 and E23. So this will be identified using workbook analysis. So this one was already identified, K6, but E22 and E23, what are those cells? So here, this is like E22 and E23. So here the sum function, even though it is using these two details, it is not giving me the proper data set. So what are the cells which has been stored as a text? It will be very difficult to identify manually. So you can do that analysis using this workbook analysis. So other stuff also you can do it using this entire report which has got generated. So I won't be able to go one by one, but entire thing you can see like which might be relevant for you. So there is a lot of help available on online also, which you can go through this Inquire adding help and you can see like what might be relevant for you. one of the most relevant thing is external workbook reference. So let me click on this. So currently there is no external workbook reference over here. Let me close this. So let us go back to this file which I've used. This has an external workbook reference. So here you can see this continue links appears whenever there is a reference has been used to the other file. Normally people will say that go to data, check edit links, and this will show like there is an external link. So first level, this level. I can see that from this, there is an external link which has been used or external data has been used in this file. But where exactly it has been used? So it is not again possible. I can't see particular cell reference or sheet reference from this particular tool. So how do I do that? Again, I will have to go to Inquire Audit, click on workbook analysis. Yes, I will save this file. It will analyze this entire file. I will simply Excel export this. Let me save this in the same folder itself. Close this. Go to this file. I will open the report which has been generated by Excel for me. I will simply go the external workbooks. Let me just identify where it is. External workbook reference. Let us click OK. And here in this particular tab, immediately you can see that this is the sheet name. This is the cell address where external workbook reference has been used. So I can go to this tab now very quickly. So let us see sales totals. I can now I want to go to that particular cell. I don't have to manually scroll and do that. I can simply identify which is the cell K9 and I can press Ctrl G. This go to window will get displayed. Then type K9 cell over here and click OK. It will take you to that particular cell. You don't have to scroll. Just go to that particular sheet and type the cell references. It will immediately take you to that particular cell. And then you can see that whether this data set is coming from this particular sheet or external sheet. Now this is something we have identified it. This is coming from an external sheet. This is currently an text one, but let us say some numbers has been used from an external file and that external file has got updated, but this file was not updated. How do I really identify that? Using this formula auditing, you can see that trace precedence. Yes, this is trace precedence. I can see that this is coming from an external file, but I want to identify whether this number was really updated whenever it was being used or not. So whether it was just linked and that file got deleted or somebody has actually deleted that file and this number is not updated itself. So how do I do that? Again, you can do it using Inquire Adding tool. So there is this workbook relationship one, second option. So I will click on this workbook relationships and it will not show only at a particular cell level, at entire workbook level it will display. So it is taking few seconds. So when I click on this, this is showing this has been linked one. And whenever you see this cross mark, it will show that the data set has not been updated in this particular file. So it will help you to identify whether the numbers has been properly displayed in one or not. So it will be like, let us say the numbers has been incorrectly calculated deliberately or not deliberately. So this will help you to identify how the relationship is working in this entire file itself. So this is at a workbook level. So if you want to go at a worksheet level, you can do that also using Inquire Adding tool. So if I click on Inquire Adding second one, so only for this particular sheet, it will show now the entire analysis in a graphical thing. So here you can see for this Inquire Adding how the relationship is working in this particular tab in this particular file is getting displayed. So this EHR list is there. There is a hidden sheet which is getting inputted into this HR list. This is a salesperson one. It is getting loaded into the sales table. There are these additional sheets also which are coming from an external file and which has not been updated. So if it has been updated properly, it will show a proper mark. It won't show a cross mark. If it is not updated, it will show this kind of a cross mark. So this is not normally possible using your formula auditing tool which are available under formulas. This is possible only using this Inquire Adding tool itself. There is another details also as a cell relationships. So it will be at an individual sales one. So let me select this any particular sale or let us go back to that another file which have a lot of details in formulas. This one. So let us say any particular brand sales, I will just simply select it. I can go to Inquire Adding and will select sales relationship. So I want all the details, trace both, all level of expansion, precedent and dependence to be displayed. So let us click OK. Okay, so there is some error. Let us click continue. Let's see whether it displays. Okay, seems to be some issue with this one, but otherwise, once you click on the cell relationships, it will display in similar manner the way workbook relationship was displayed or worksheet relationship was displayed. You can see whether the numbers has been updated properly or not, whether the data is flowing correctly or not, from which particular cell. At that individual cell level only will get displayed over here. So let me close this. Might be some issue with my Excel right now. So that's it, like from this Inquire adding. So let me close this very quickly. There's some issue. So this is useful of this Inquire adding. Let me go to the next topic. We have seen this compare file and now formula auditing. Let me open this file again. So now here we will be using our existing formula auditing things also. So how I can audit this, some additional things using this formula auditing toolbar. So you might have been using like already aware how to identify trace precedents. So if I select any particular cell, I will click on trace precedents and it will show me the arrows. So if I want to identify trace precedents, most of the people would be already aware about this one. But there are other stuffs also which you can audit using this formula auditing ones. So first thing is like error checking. So somewhere you want to identify, instead of using this Inquire adding, I want to identify this kind of a text cells. How do I identify that? So if I don't have this professional plus edition, so we will quickly see that. First thing, you will have to go to error checking, click on error checking, go to options. This window will open up. Ensure that all the options have been selected over here. Click on this formula referencing to empty cells, everything. Let us click reset, ignore errors, and then let us click OK. Now let us select any of the top cells and then let us start error checking. So here you can quickly see that this number, once you click on this, immediately it will show this number cells has been stored as a text. So what is the number? Let us go to this one. So this is the particular cell, it has been identified. So here you can see that. Let me close it. And here quickly you can see that even though it has been formatted as a number, it is not getting considered. So you will have to simply go and remove this, and then only the automatically the formula will get updated. So wherever the numbers have been stored as a text, it won't get considered. So this can be also a deception which a person may use it. So if you have a lot of data set, like a lot of rows, you will simply go and check the sum formula. Yes, the entire thing has been used, and you will assume that the formula is calculating correctly. No, you will have to see that whether the number has been stored as a text, and if it has been stored as a text, it will not be get considered in a sum formula. So even though it appears as a number, it is not coming as a number. Another trick is like, let us say in this entire range, I want to quickly identify whether any particular number has been stored as a text. I can simply go to home and quickly click on this comma. So the moment you click on a comma, if the numbers has been stored as a proper number, it will have this additional cells. Now here you can see this numbers has been stored as a text. They don't have any additional decimal number. So I can quickly identify. This is another trick. But still a fraudster, you can definitely, a fraudster will be able to change this one. But this is one of the quick trick. You can see that whenever you are checking any sum formula, first quickly format that and quickly see that whether any number has been stored as a text or not. If it does not have any decimal places, it won't get considered in your sum formula. So this is quick trick to identify it. Now next thing are to identify the row differences. Now this formula, I can see that this sum formula has been added everywhere. So but I want to quickly see that whether any particular cell does not have a proper formula been documented or added over here. So how do I do that? So that can't be done using this formula auditing one. So let us quickly select this entire row, then press Ctrl G, which we have done go to, then click on special, there are these additional options. So I won't go one by one. There are two relevant things over here which might be useful for forensic audit purpose. So I will click on row differences, then let us click OK. So immediately it will identify the cells where the references are not correct. So it has identified these two particular cells. So let me quickly highlight them. Now I will quickly see and go and see in this particular cell whether the formula is added correctly or not. If I do a F2, I can quickly see that it is referring to previous cell. Instead of referencing to this particular cell, it is referencing to that. So these row differences will identify differences based on the logic of the formula, whether it is showing the correct one, relative differences or absolute differences have been calculated correctly or not. So that will get identified using row differences. So if the text wise you want to compare it, that also will get identified using these row differences. So I can quickly go and change this, keep the file separately, but it will help you to identify the formula errors. So now you can see that the numbers have changed. Earlier, the number was appearing something different. Now let us quickly see that what is the difference in here. So now most of the time, what I have seen like in balance sheet, there is a difference of rounding off. So people will go and add 1 to it. So here also you can quickly see that just for a row, I was able to identify, yes, there was 1 was added. So I can quickly identify and remove this, and we'll have to manually identify what differences was there. So you can identify using row differences or using this formula auditing one. Now let us see, now this entire data set, I want to identify which are the formulas in this particular data set and which are the text one. So again, I can select this entire stuff, a region, Control G, spatial, and I will select formulas. Let us click OK. So it will select all the cells which contains formula. Let us quickly highlight them. Now you can see that some of the cells are getting selected as a formula where I don't expect any formulas. So total, I can understand there is a formula, but here why there is a formula. So you can quickly identify and see that there has been a manual additions, or let us say some numbers has been stored as a formulas, but it is actually a hard-coded numbers. So you can see that which is the formula and which is not a formula. So other constant, if you want to identify, you can do that using this stuff also. Let me select this entire thing, Control G. And now if I select constant, it will identify only the cells which contains constant. So in a file, if you want to quickly audit it, you can quickly see that this is the cells which are containing text values. So here you can see I was expecting a formula. So there can be an error. So where I am expecting a formula, but it is not a formula. So let us quickly see. Data is 11,186 and here it is showing 11,925. So instead of that, I can quickly see that this can be a kind of a deception also. So somebody is using it. So this is something an incorrect formula, or a formula has been removed from this one and hard-coded values has been added over here. So this is again something which you can audit it using this go to options, Control G, formulas and constant, row differences and column differences also. So that's it like from the formula auditing ones. So next is like in formula auditing, one more tip I want to give it. So let us say there is a complex big formula. I have seen the formulas which runs around like 2 rows, 3 rows, or even multiple rows. So it becomes very difficult to audit it. So to take an example over here. So here you can see, I will just zoom in a little bit. Now here you can see this if formula, multiple nested ifs has been added. So imagine that there are a lot of such kind of formulas where nested if has been added. To audit this logic, it might be very difficult. So how do I do that? First thing, just separate this formula step by step. You can press Alt Enter, just try to format it if possible manually. It becomes easier to identify the logic over here. If you can do this, it's fine by pressing Alt Enter. So it becomes easier to identify how the logic is working. So it is checking like if S6, this is the first condition. Inside conditions get calculated first of all. So this is the first condition, Q6 will get calculated. Then based on this yes or no, again it will get calculated yes or no. So all of this will be easier to identify when you have formatted the formula over here. That is one thing. Instead of that, let us say if I want to identify one condition at a time, I can click on this inside one. Once you click on any of the region of the formula, this kind of a tooltips get selected, displayed. So once you click on this logical test, this entire thing will get selected and then press F9. So immediately it will display temporarily what is the data. So now again, I can select this entire one. Let us click this F9. So whatever yes, no will get displayed. So I can go F9 one at a time. I can see the logic, how it is getting performed. I can select this entire stuff, F9, yes or no. So how the values are getting calculated, I can display. So I would say that once you press F9, don't press enter immediately. Otherwise, this number, your formula will get deleted and it will be stored as a text. So press escape immediately. Your formula will remain intact. So just selecting a particular part of the region, you can test what values are coming by pressing F9 and pressing Ctrl Z, it will come back to this one. So it will be easier for you to audit that particular formula. So this is the second thing. Third thing is, again, in formula auditing also, there is an evaluate formula. So if you click on this, it will go step by step. So if I click on evaluate, it will calculate first one. It will show this is it is coming true. Immediately again, it will go to the next one. So step by step, you can also still evaluate this formula. So this is the another way of looking at evaluating the formula, auditing the formula in this particular Excel. So that's it, like from the formula auditing ones, guys. So let me close this. Let me go to the next topic.
Should we just quickly take the questions away? Because I think some people felt if we go to the next topic, maybe the questions may not be relevant.
Sounds good. So I'm fine. So I can wait for a few seconds. I can take questions right now also.
Yeah, we will just quickly take a few questions.
Sure.
CA Vijay Kumar Valande at 11:25 is asked, if any file is deleted in the folder, will it get removed from the list or will it show as deleted?
So it will get deleted. It won't show as a kind of a deleted from this particular folder. That file name won't appear over here in the inventory of the files. So it won't keep a track like this file has been deleted or something. So first you create an inventory of whatever files you have received. You can save that file in a separate folder itself. If you want to keep a track of if there has been any deletion or something, but it won't appear as a deleted. It's not a completely auditing tool, I would say, just like ACL or IDEA tools where everything gets tracked. It is just an inbuilt tool in Excel, not from the perspective of audit, but we are using it as an for audit tool.
CV Vinay Ramachandran has asked, can the SIPOC template be shared with us, please?
Okay, sure, no problem. So this SIPOC, whatever is possible, I will try to share it today itself. I can send it to the branch and then probably they can share it with you as
well. Earlier versions of Excel had the watch window in the tools panel itself and not as a separate window. Is it possible to bring back the feature in the latest version too? That will be more convenient instead of using audit tab. Is it possible to bring back that feature?
See, now currently, if you see, this is available under formula. So if you want any of the feature to be added as a for using for a quick purpose, so you want to quickly use that particular feature. So what we can do, we can quickly right click and click on add to quick access toolbar. So at the top, you can see this tool has been added. So you don't always have to go to this formula and click on watch window. It is always available to you under this quick access toolbar. So if you click on this quick access toolbar, it will get displayed over here. So you can customize this quick access toolbar based on whatever functions you are using regularly just by right clicking and adding it. If you don't want something, you can right click and remove from this. So this is an alternative way in current versions, I would say.
In Office 365, there is no shortcut key to jump from one window to other, or is there one? I think it's the same question. Is it?
One what? I couldn't get it.
In Office 365, there is no shortcut key to jump from one window to another. Or is there a shortcut key? That's what sir is asking.
Okay, so definitely one thing is, as I showed to you, it is doing a compare by compare one. So if you want to shift between the Excel files, so let me open this one. There is an alternative shortcut also. So let us see if I'm working on multiple files together. I'm just opening few of them. And now let us say if I want to jump from one file to another, I can go to view one and under switch window, this option is there. Again, if you are using this one, regularly you can add this. Okay, so let me see, like now currently it is deactivated. Now I can go to customize ribbon and let us see whether it is available under this one. Switch window. . So I can add to this quick tabs, quick access toolbar instead of quick tabs. Switch window. So you already have this in quick access toolbar. Okay. Let me see whether it is strange. Okay. So here it is. So maybe probably you can go from this view window and you can switch between these files the way you want it. So this is not appearing. This is deactivated. I'm not able to add it over here, but at least you can change it. So here also, I think I have already have this. That's why it was deactivated. So I can add this one. Let me remove this. Probably I can add this now. It is already added. So from here I can change it. So I don't have to do a Alt tab also. I can use mouse keys and I can change it. So I hope I have answered this.
Yes. Next question. In Excel, totals are as per our range. If there is a mistake, the total that appears will be wrong when compared to actuals as per our rows. How to resolve this?
I couldn't get that complete question. So probably
I am not able to understand it. I'll just repeat it. Let's see if we can understand it. In Excel, totals are as per our range. There is a mistake in the total that appears to be wrong when compared to actuals as per rows. How to? I think the question maybe, sir, you can reword the question a little bit. There seems to be a lack of clarity. We will take that again at the end, sir.
Yeah, so I'm just guessing your question. So let us say now currently this is a manual reference to this range of sales. So instead of that, let us say some people are actually using this name manager. So if somebody has actually defined this particular range, let us say instead of, I will just name it quickly, to sales, something like this. And in this formula, I'm using it, let us say sum to sales. So now here, if you see, this is a range of sales which has been named. So this, again, you can change it. You can go and verify what range has been defined from this name manager. So this is, I'm something guessing it, but again, this name manager references, you can do it like Inquire adding, you can have an entire defined names list to be displayed. So like paste names. So probably I can add this entire list, paste list over here, and I can audit this range names if something has been used under formulas. This is something you will have to manually audit it. You can't do it like using this F2 and this stuff. I'm just guessing on this. If you have any other questions, just let me know. Just elaborate a little more on that.
Yeah. See, George and George. Sir, whether watch window, pivot, etc. are available on Office 365 on the Mac system?
Yes, it will be available. Definitely. Watch window, Power Pivot, I think it's not available in Mac, but watch window is definitely available in all the versions of Excel, even on Mac also.
CA Velmuthu, sir. How do we show two different windows in an extended display unit for comparison?
So extended display, I can simply drag and drop it. So currently, if you see, I can't show you both the screen right now. So if you see like this is the Excel file, I can simply drag and put this on a separate screen, and then I can simply compare it one by one. So currently, again, I have started extended screen. I'm not able to view side by side. You have to simply drag and put it on the separate screen. That's it.
What is the difference between hidden worksheet and very hidden worksheet?
Okay, so hidden worksheet is something you can unhide from here, and very hidden worksheet you can unhide through only macro window. So if I go to this one and let us say view code, currently this one is visible over here. If I hide it, I can still unhide it, and I can see in the list over here what are the hidden sheets. So if I select sheet 1, I can unhide it. But let us see if I go to view code, all the sheets in that particular file will get displayed over here. It will be also get password protected by some of the people. Now here from Excel sheet hidden, if I say Excel sheet very hidden itself. So sheet 1, I'm selecting sheet visible. If I select Excel sheet very hidden, and if I close it, and now if I click unhide, that sheet will also not get displayed in unhide sheet over here. So Excel sheet very hidden will be visible only when you go into the macro window, view code, and all the list will get displayed. And if you want to display something, you will have to change it from here. So that is the difference between Excel hidden and very hidden.
Next question. Like the formula should identify how many rows and take its range and take auto sum, for example.
Okay, so I think that is the dynamic range of formulas. You will have to define it through name manager. So I won't be able to explain you right now because it's more of kind of a formula stuff. So, but this is something you will have to define under name manager. You can click on new. You have to put your formulas over here if you want to take a sum of certain particular regions. So just like I've simple example, I've shown it to you. So like here I've selected this at 2 cells and I have named that one. And when I'm doing a sum one, I'm putting it over here, sum of 2 cells, and it is getting displayed over here.
I think Abhay, we will continue with your next topic before we take the next question. Chairman, oh, Chairman is here. Chairman, can you unmute?
Yeah. Abhay, there is one more question. Many people have Excel 2016. They're asking whether they can add Power Query, Power Pivot, and Inquire. How to get it added?
Okay. So Power Query, Power Pivot, if you are using Excel 2016, it will be already there. So Power Query would be under this data tab and displayed over here. Power Pivot, you will have to go to options. Under add-ins, you will have to again select this COM add-ins, click go, and you will have to add this Power Pivot over here. So Power Query, Power Pivot, you don't have to do anything. For Inquire adding, you will require to have a Professional Plus edition only. If you don't have a Professional Plus editions, this is not available in your Excel, any of the versions. If you are using Home editions or Office editions, you won't be able to use this Inquire adding. You will have to get that Professional Plus editions of Office.
There are no external add-ins for Inquire?
No, there is no separate add-in for Inquire. There is no separate file.
Okay.
It is inbuilt in Professional Plus editions only.
Okay.
And also to clarify to members, many people are asking if we'll be sharing a recording. We'll be uploading the recording in 2 to 3 days. It will be there on our SIRC website. So if anybody has missed any of the formula, you can rewatch it. You can rewatch it or you can practice at your home also.
Yeah. It will be only available in SIRC website, not in YouTube. We want to make it very clear.
Yeah, I think Abhay, you should continue and then we'll take the questions at the end of the next session. Next topic.
We'll just stop this one. Now the next topic is one of my favorite topic, I would say. This is a pivot tables one. So most of you guys might be aware, or many of you guys may not be aware completely. But like when you are going for an audit purpose, most of the people would be creating this pivot table and sharing it with you. Even for preparing your balance sheets, P&Ls, or even for some schedules also, they might be linking your schedules and balance sheet to this pivot tables. So when you are getting this pivot table, how do you audit it? First of all, we will see how do we audit, or what are the things you should check when you are getting a file which contains a pivot table. Normally, people will feel that pivot tables have been provided and the data set has been created from a pivot table. Everything is correct. So that's not the case. That is the incorrect assumptions you will have to remember. So if you're taking any numbers from pivot table, you still have to cross verify. So let us see what you need to do it. Now, before I move on to the Excel file, let us quickly understand the different types of now pivot tables which are now available in latest version. First one, I call it as a legacy pivot table. Second is like a simple data model, and third one is a power pivot. So what is basically a difference between this? Legacy pivot tables are available in all versions of Excel. So you require as a clean data source for it. You need to have a proper headings in all the columns, proper rows in that particular. So it should be in a table format for a legacy pivot table. It will be used through only a limited source. You can only use a single sheet or a single file as a data source for your legacy pivot tables, and limited formulas again you can add in legacy pivot table. Next is like a simple data model. So this is available now in any versions of Excel. So here you will be able to create certain additional formulas, but there is no DAX. So something which is available only in Power Pivot. You can add 300 plus formulas in your pivot table. So that is something the power of Power Pivot, I would say. This is a second type of a data model. So here you won't be able to create a relationships manually. It will be just like through your user interface, you can create it. And finally is the Power Pivot. So if you are using any pivot table for your analysis purpose, or somebody has already provided your pivot table, first identify what type of pivot table he has used it. We'll quickly see how to identify that also. But this is something difference is very important. So if you're using Power Pivot, then he might have used DAX formulas. So DAX formulas will again have their own limitations, advantages, disadvantages. You will have to audit it separately. These are not appearing in your Excel sheet. It will appear only in the Power Pivot table. So you will have to audit, you will have to learn Power Pivot to audit that DAX formulas if it has been used for your file which has been provided to you. That is something you will have to remember it. Now, as a pivot table, first thing you need to identify what type of pivot table has been used. So you can identify that using the data source. So whenever you go for an audit, you will first thing you will ask, what is the source of this particular data? So for SIPOC, what is the supplier or from where you have got this particular data? Same thing you will have to ask it whenever you get a particular file with a pivot table. What is the source of this particular pivot table? Now, there can be different types of sources. So it can be coming from a single sheet. Within a single sheet, it can be a range of sales, a named range, or a table. There can be multiple sheets. Even in a legacy pivot table also, you can use multiple sheets as a source of your pivot table. But when you are going to use Excel 2016 or latest version, you won't be able to identify it directly. We will see how to identify that also. You can use the existing pivot table as a source to another pivot table. There can be an external data also which has been used for your pivot table purpose. So this will be very important for you whenever you are auditing a file which contains a pivot table. So let us quickly identify how do we do this. So let me go to pivot tables. The first thing I will quickly show you the single sheet. Now here you see that I've created a file with pivot table. So this is the range of sales, this named range, this dynamic range, and this is the source data. Now the pivot tables have been created in each of these separate sales. So separate sheets over here. And it has using different types of sources. So this pivot table contains pivot range of sales. So what is the limitations or what range has been used? How do I identify that? So whenever you get a file, click on any cell inside this pivot table, go to pivot table analysis, click on change data source. So the moment you click on change data source, if that data source is already available in that existing file, it will get automatically selected. So currently, if you see the moment I click, it has moved to this another tab where the data source has been appearing up over here. So this is the range of cells which has been used to creating this pivot table. So fine, this I have identified using simple range one. So if I go to this second pivot table, now let me click on this change data source. So again, it is getting selected, but here if you see, this is not showing me the cell references. This is showing me the name ones, which is appearing under formulas name manager. So you will have to go and see what ranges has been used. Even though it is getting selected under this change data source, so it may be useful to see what range has been given this particular name. So you will have to go and check under this name manager. We'll quickly see, let us first identify what is the data source. The next one is dynamic range. So currently you see this is a range of cells which has been used. Now here if I go and check dynamic range, pivot table, change data source, here I can see that the same similar type of name range of cells has been given up. But if I go and quickly see in formulas, name manager, and quickly see the formula used for this one. So the formula used for this one is something different, which is an offset formula. So whenever you see an offset formula under this name range, it means that it is a dynamic formula. It will automatically expand the range of cells. But if I go to the sales range, it is a static formula. There is no offset formula being used. So this is the difference between these two types of range, dynamic range and static range. We will quickly see what is the relevance of that as well. And now finally, this is another table, pivot table, which I've used. Now here again, change data source. Now here, if you see, this is the table which has been created. So in previous version, it was considered as a list. In latest version, it is considered as a table. So here the data source has been identified. So let us quickly see what is the relevance of different types of ranges and how the problem will occur. It will be occurring whenever you have a new data source or new data set being added to your existing table. So let me copy this additional rows and paste it over here. Now I've used this particular range of cells under this particular table. Now if I simply go and refresh it, the numbers won't change. So that is the limitation of static range. So you will have to manually go and change the range of cells. So again, whenever you're auditing, this is very important to identify whether it is using static range of cells, dynamic range, or a table. So if it is using static range of cells, it may not consider the entire data set, even though it is appearing that this data set has been used, but bottom rows has not been used over here. So we'll have to ensure that and change it manually. So this is one thing in a static range of cells. Now here, if you see, we have used the named of range. So again, like here also, if I add something, let us see if I add, I'm just copying and pasting. And if I go and refresh this particular pivot table, again, it is still not getting changed. But here I have used the name range. So why it is not changing? So I will have to go and check in the name manager. Here again, I have to see it. Instead of directly referencing in a pivot table static range, it is getting displayed static range under name manager. So it is not automatically adding the additional rows which has been added to my source data. Again, this will create you a problem. Again, it can be a data, what you can say, deliberately it has been put like this, or it had been inadvertently put like this. So this name is a static range. However, if I go and add additional rows over here in a dynamic range, so let me add something over here. Now, since I have used offset formula for this particular table, let me increase this. So currently this is 42 million. So if I simply click refresh, it will change. So you can see 786. If I do a Control Z, it was 542. If I refresh it, that additional data has been added. So to a certain extent, dynamic range is good to have. But however, it will add only the number of rows. That way the formula has been defined in under offset. So if I've added certain additional columns, it won't get considered in a dynamic range. We'll have to go and check this dynamic range formula, how it has been defined. So let me click on this. So here the formula has been defined over. So this offset formula, you will have to go and audit it. So you will have to go and check the formula, how it has been defined. So let me copy this formula. I will try to put it over here. Again, I can separate it. So different options like reference. This is starting from this particular cell. Number of rows 0, number of rows, column 0, count. So here the height is getting counted. So height means number of rows, and width is also getting considered. So this formula will change even if there are additional columns are added and if additional rows are being added. If the width was not considered over here, if I have typed 0 only over here, it won't expand my range of cells which has been considered for a pivot table. So you will have to go and check this formula, copying it in a separate cell. You won't be able to audit it directly from this dynamic range. So you'll have to ensure that the proper range has been used for your pivot table. And finally, if the pivot table has been used as a source from a table, it is very much useful. So even if I add any additional columns or table, additional columns or rows here, it will automatically expand it. So let me quickly copy this. Copy and paste it over here. And if I go and update this and right click and refresh it, the numbers will change automatically. And the data source, I can quickly see it, the table has been used. So this also looks like a named range, but this is not a named range. This is referencing to a particular table. Again, you can go and verify it from formulas, name manager. This is a sales table. You won't be able to edit the formulas over here. So whenever it is referencing a particular table, this will have been deactivated over here. So this table you can quickly identify from this drop down. Let us select sales table and it will select this entire range of sales, which has been marked as a particular table. You'll have to check the name managers as well whenever you are checking the form source for your pivot table. So this is coming from your existing sheets only. So existing file sheets I'm using as a source of a pivot table. But let us say now close this. Let us move to the second one. And this is an external file. Now somebody has provided you this file. He will say that I have simply created a pivot table and this is the source data which I have used it. You will simply rely it without checking the source. If you're doing that, you are up for a run itself. So somebody is actually deliberately misguiding you. So if I try to go and check on this pivot table, change source, immediately here you can see it will show using an external source. If I click on choose connections, it will still not show where exactly that file has been stored. This is something you will have to make sure that that person also provide you the source data properly. Now, if I try to create a new pivot table out of this pivot table, I can select range, new worksheet. Let us click OK, and I can try to create same pivot table like regions. I will put regions over here and sales amount over here. And what was the stuff? Color also. Color. So immediately you can see the number has been different. So somebody is telling you that this is the source data and this is the pivot table. Always verify what is the source data he has used it. Don't rely that these numbers are correct coming in pivot tables. Since it is a pivot table there, I can't edit anything and that's why the numbers are correct. Don't rely on that. Always check the source data which has been used for a pivot table. Now, this was like using external data, existing files, we have seen it. But let us say now, if there are multiple sheets which has been used. Let me go to this multiple sheets. Now here you can see there are 3 different sheets which has been documented over here. And in the multiple sheets, I have created this pivot table. Now this has been used using the legacy version. So even if you are using latest version, you won't be able to identify the source of data. If I go to pivot table analysis, click on change source, again, I won't be able to identify what is the source of data. You might say that this is an external one. No, this is not an external one. We'll have to go back and use the keyboard shortcut keys, which you might be using in Excel 2003. So you'll have to press Alt D and P. So this window will open up. We'll have to click on back, and here you can see what are the range of sales which has been used. So this is the range which is coming from region 1. This is the range 2 which is coming from this. You'll have to see this range has been used properly or not. So if I miss out any of the range of sales over here, this data set won't be get displayed properly. Even if I add something, you will have to change it. So here you can see the range of DP. I click on back. This is a static range. So just like we have seen in existing, if I add any additional rows, like currently it is still 9 row only. If I add any additional rows, it won't get used in this pivot table. So the data set will be always incorrect. So even if you are using multiple sheets as a source for your data pivot table, you'll have to go and check using Alt D P. That is the shortcut key, and go backwards and see whether the data source is coming correctly or not. This is for a multiple sheets. So finally, let us go to our Power Pivot data models. So let me click on this data models. Let me close this and let us see this pivot table. Let me right click, or let us go to pivot table and click change source. This is a pivot table from so I can quickly identify this pivot table. This is the source data which has been used. But instead of that, let us say pivot table from data models. So if I click on change source, it is deactivated. So how do I identify? Everyone will say that this is coming from pivot table. I can't edit it. How do I identify that? So this will be deactivated. You will have to activate your Power Pivot ribbon. Click on the manage source. Once you click on this manage one, so it will display a table. Now, when you are using a Power Pivot, it won't be based on only on a single data source. So you'll have to go and click on diagram view also. So these relationships would be used for this pivot table purpose. So these relationships are just like a VLOOKUP things, but this is something you will also need to understand. I won't be able to explain you completely. This is a little technical part, but this way you can identify whether the data model has been used. And if it has been used, then a little added complexity has been given to you. You need to understand all of this stuff also. So here you can see this is the formula which has been added, sum formula. This is the DAX formula which has been added. So I can add DAX formula which won't be visible anywhere in my Excel sheet, but I can still perform my analysis. So even if I change, let us say instead of country, I can use the formula or fields from different table. Instead of customer country, I can simply drag and drop it over here. And you can see that I can still analyze the data set using that single formula. And this is not coming directly from my values in this particular table. So even though here residual value is there, USA country is there, I can add additional formulas using DAX formulas, and these numbers will change. So you need to understand those DAX formulas as well whenever there is a Power Pivot being used in your data source. Let me close this. And next thing is very critical. Now, since we'll just open this. Now, this is a calculated field. Now, here is the source data which I'm using it. I've created 2 pivot tables out of this. Now, since I've already told you, you need to identify your data source, you will go to pivot tables. We'll say, let us click on change data source. Let us see whether the data source is giving a proper name. Yes, it is giving a superstore. Then again, you will go to formulas. Let us click superstore. This is a table. So I'm fine with this. Since it is a table, if any additional rows are being added to this one, it will get automatically considered. It won't miss out the rows or any additional columns. So you are fine with this. You will say that this total which is coming here, it is absolutely correct. Again, don't go by that. So let me quickly tell you, like, this is a sum of sales. Now currently it is 2.7 million. And a simple thing, if I do it in many files, it may be possible, it may not be possible. So here, if you see, the number which is coming is 2.29 million. So why there is a difference? If I'm using the table as a source, everything is coming from the same source data. Why the numbers are coming incorrect? Now, there is a problem with this particular pivot table. Now that is called as calculated items and calculated fields. Now, even though I can't add any numbers inside pivot tables manually by pressing F2 or something, but I can add the numbers using calculated items and fields. And if I'm not careful, if somebody want to misguide you, he can play around with this stuff. So how do I identify that? So I will go to pivot table analysis. Now here, go to fields items and then click on list formulas, not on this one. Click on list formulas and immediately it will list down if there has been any formulas which has been used inside this particular pivot table. Now here, once I see this, these two things has been added. One is a calculated item and calculated field. Item means there has been an additional row has been added. And calculated field means there is an additional column is added. So let us quickly see on calculated items, what is the problem? So here, if you see the formula which has been used is like copiers plus labels plus papers and binders, and it is giving as a name printing materials. What exactly has happened over here? So here you can see that this is a printing material which is appearing under row labels. So from where this particular column has been used. So let us quickly identify. Let us go to design. Let us see what is the column. So here, this is a subcategory column I have used from the table. Let me go to the column over here and let us see whether printing material is appearing. So this is not appearing anywhere over here. So this is something which has been manually added using this formula over here. So Control Z. So this has been manually added. So what is happening now? This copier plus label plus builder. So copier plus label, what is additional papers and binders. So papers and binders. So this total 1,14,132. It is getting calculated twice in this particular table. So the person who is creating this calculated fields, he will have to manually remove this all the 4 options from here, or he will have to remove this printing material. Otherwise, this total of pivot table will also show incorrect thing. So don't rely on the totals of pivot table. Make sure that whether there is any calculated field added or not. This is on the calculated items. Now let us go to the calculated fields also. So now what problems are here? So now let us quickly see that. Now what I'm trying to do here in this pivot table, I want to calculate a commission. Now what is the logic for a commission? If the sales are more than 30,000, I will be paid 10% of the sales. If it is less than 5%, it will be paid 5% of the sales. Now let us see what formula I've used for calculated field. I've used the if formula. Sales greater than 30,000 multiplied by sales multiplied by 10%. So this seems fine to me. This is not a problematic. The logic, everything is fine. But now let us go to this calculated fields. Now here, if you see that based on that calculated field, this formulas has been added over here, and this has been calculated over here. Now, how do I identify? If there are a lot of numbers, how do I identify this one? So quick thing is you can do a conditional formatting. First thing, you will have to be very sure like whether it is calculating correctly. So I can go to this conditional formatting, whatever logics has been used, I can do that. New formula. This one. So let us say the formula is using sales. So I'm simply going to add a formula over here. So let us say equal to this. So I won't add the F4. I will just remove the dollar signs. Whether this is equal to, again, I will change dollar signs. I will keep it without dollar signs multiplied by 5%. Let us click format. I want this to be filled with green color. Let us click OK. Let us click OK. Let us click Apply. So everywhere you can see this is 5% of commissions, but let us say if 10% of commissions is being used. Sorry. Please select this entire thing first. Even the totals also I will check it. I have added totals. I have just removed this stuff. This F4 to remove. This is equal to multiplied by 5%. I will remove the F4 signs. If it is equal to that, I want green color. Just click OK. Okay. Now I will add one more rule. Let us say whether this number will remove F4 is equal to, or I will remove constant multiplied by 10% format. I want this to be in a blue color or any other color. Let us click OK. So everywhere you can see that it is getting calculated in 10%. So even here also it should have been calculated in 5% only. It is showing as a blue. So let me go to manage rules first of all. In this, I will say stop true. Okay, so this is something incorrect actually. So this formula is incorrect actually in conditional formatting. Somewhere I messed it up. But still here, at least you can quickly see that just like looking at the data set, it is showing us like 10%. Now here also it is showing 10%. And finally here also at the grand total level also it is showing as a 10%. Ideally, it should have been taking a total of this one, this number, and this number. And then only the total should have been displayed. So here currently, if you see, if I manually take a total of this, it is coming as 8985, but it is showing in the final total amount 11,000. If somebody is paying based on this particular number, it is paying on the higher side. So this number, even though it is calculated using calculated fields inside pivot table, it is still incorrect. So don't rely on blindly on the numbers which are coming from the pivot table. You can using conditional formatting or even manually cross-verifying, you can do this stuff, but don't rely on this stuff. So whenever you have calculated items and calculated fields inside pivot table, that is an additional caution you need to verify. Go and cross-verify the numbers inside your pivot tables totals if that has been used as a source for subsequent calculations also. So this is something you will have to remember it. So let me stop it over here. So I think you have a little less time, so I will quickly take you to the next items. Pareto rules, probably like I will just quickly take you to the relative size factor and even the power pivot. This quickly I will take it. So now first thing, what is useful of power pivot? As I said, it can have a multiple data set in the power pivot tables, and even number of rows can be more than this one. So currently, if you see, this file is almost like 800 MB file. Here you can see that. And this contains 20 lakh rows of data. So I can't load that in an Excel sheet or anywhere in normal pivot table. So how do I do that inside Power Pivot? I can quickly see this. I can go to data. Let us click get data from file, from text file. So since this is a comma separated file, I will copy this. I will go to this stuff. Just paste it. I will select this entire data set, import it. So this entire data is getting displayed. I will click transform data. A Power Query window will get displayed. Now there are certain steps which are automatically added by Power Query. So I will have to just change few of the stuffs, or there might be an error. Let it be. So another thing you will have to do it, instead of clicking on close and load, if you have to use in Power Query, you will have to click close and load to option, then select only create a connection, and this option you will have to select and click add to data models. It will take few seconds and it will add to the data models. Let us wait for a few seconds. Sometimes in online sessions it is little slow, otherwise it is not that slow. Because of bandwidth or something, it creates a problem. In the meantime, I will just quickly take you to the theoretical things for relative size factor with the time it gets added. So now relative size factor testing is one of the forensic tests which normally people perform whenever you get a, let us say, purchase register, or let us say any particular vendor ledger account. So what does exactly this relative size factor does it? So it will try to identify a particular line items in a particular account, whether it is coming properly or not. Let us say vendors, a particular purchase has been booked in incorrect vendor. So whether there has been additional zero has been added at a particular number. This will be identified through this relative size factor testing. It is actually calculating a ratio of the largest number in that particular vendor account, or let us say entire purchase register. Again, you will have to subset it by supplier wise, but again, it will be based on the vendors only. What is the highest number in that particular subset or particular vendor account, party account, and what is the second highest? Try to find a ratio between division between this one. And if it is ideally more than 5 or 6 number, there are higher chances that this number, the largest number is incorrectly booked into that particular vendor account. But ideally, you can do it only for not only for first 2 numbers, you can do it for the entire, all the numbers to identify if there are any particular discrepancy. So we will perform this using Excel tool itself. So let us quickly do that. Let me see whether it has been added for this Power Pivot. So here you can quickly see that 20 lakh rows has been added. So how do I verify this? So I can go to Power Pivot window, click on Manage. And here you can see that entire table has been added to that Excel file. So let me create this a pivot table out of this new worksheet. And just like normal pivot table, I can start performing an analysis. So I can simply drag a vendor name over here. Let us identify amount, payment amount. Just like a normal pivot table, I can perform analysis on this entire data set. I can format whatever sorting, whatever addition, subtraction, whatever you want to do it, you can do it. Now, if I save this file, let us see what happens. I will quickly save this file. Save this. This one. Now the file is getting saved for Power Pivot. Now let us go to this folder and let us see the file size. So here you can see that 800 MB file has been reduced to almost 80 MB file. So even if you are going to use it for your normal data set, your file size will be very low, almost 10 times it is lower, and you can perform your analysis properly. Not only on a single data set, you can bring in the multiple data set, you can start performing analysis using normal pivot tables, and your file size will be manageable. So you don't have to worry about when you are using Power Pivot. So that is like something added advantage. Instead of using legacy pivot tables, you should start using Power Pivot tables. So this was added. Let me close this Power Pivot. Now let us quickly see relative size factor testing and duplicates also. I want to quickly show it to you. Let me first, for this, I will quickly show you how to quickly identify duplicates. So now here, if you see, this is the sales register. I will just go a little fast now since we have a little less time. So this is the sales register where I want to identify a duplicate line item. So how do I do that? So again, you can do it using Power Query. I will simply select this entire data set, go to data. Now I am not going to use any external file. So I'm using the existing file itself. I will simply select from table and range. Let us click OK. That entire data set will get loaded into this file. Now I want to use multiple columns to identify duplicates. So let us say voucher number, reference number, date also, party name also, and let us say amount I want to identify. So I will just scroll with the control key pressed. I'm selecting multiple columns. I'm just scrolling. This is purchase unit, this is amount, and this is discount amount. So here you can see with control key pressed, I'm selecting only these relevant columns. I will remove other columns, right click, remove other columns. Only these selected columns I've kept it. Now select this entire stuff, go to keep rows and keep duplicates. So immediately you can see 645 rows where all the data set has been duplicated over here. So here you can, this is a discount amount incorrectly I have selected, I guess. So again, like you don't have to redo it again. I can go back to this one. I can undo it over here instead of this. Give me a second. Discount amount. Let us say I wanted this amount. I will just copy this column. I can go to this particular step. I don't have to redo that step. I can simply change from here, Control V, press enter, and keep duplicates. Let me remove this, and I will select this entire stuff and keep duplicates if I keep. So here you can see I have the voucher number same, reference number same, date is also same, party name is also same, amount is also same. So this way you can quickly identify if there are any duplicates items using multiple columns, not only selecting a single column. So here Power Query will be very useful to you to identify this kind of a duplicates. So let me close this. Now let us go to the next one, identifying the gaps. Now let me open this file. Now here, this is a purchase register. So normally whenever you record any purchase in Tally or somewhere, you will be giving a sequential number on hard copies and you will record that hard numbers in your Tally also. So that same number has been documented over here. So purchase voucher reference number starting from PUR, this is alphanumeric. So 001 FY 1789, last number is getting displayed. So first you sort this entire data set and try to identify what is the first number and last number. I need to identify gaps in between this number. So how do I do that again? So I can quickly do it using Power Query. So first let us identify what is the starting number. This is 001 and this is 320. Or let us say using Excel itself, how we can do it quickly. Let me just put it over here. 1. I will quickly do it. Simply, I have typed 1 over here in a blank sheet. I will go to fill series. I will select columns and 320. And let us click OK. So sequential number wise, it has got displayed over. So now I need to add 3 zeros, just like to make like this one. So I will simply say text this one 000. I will add, let us say, we'll add 0 zeros, 4 zeros, and we will combine this. Let us put it over here. Now I want to extract right ones. This is the 4 digits I have extracted in between. So this inside number I have extracted. I will simply now UR dash and dash FY 17, 18, enter. So let me zoom in a little bit so that you can also see. This is a fill series which I've added. I've added simply a 4 digits. I've extracted last 4 digits and then I've added this stuff. Just double click this. The entire sequential number is getting displayed. So now I can quickly do a VLOOKUP and at 410. So wherever it is matching, it will show the number. Now you can quickly sort this data set. I'll DS, Control G, Z to A, let us, or A to Z, let us see wherever it is matching. So at the bottom here, you can see these numbers are missing. So even though this is sorted on this particular number, so here quickly you can identify this invoices has not been booked, have been removed wherever you are expecting a sequential number. So the steps are first identify what is the starting number, what is the ending number. If it is alphanumeric, if it is straightway numeric, you can straightway do a VLOOKUP after doing a fill series. And then once you have alphanumeric, you can simply do a VLOOKUP thing. So here you are able to identify the gaps also. So for duplicates, you can use Power Query. For gaps, you can use this formulas very quickly. Let me delete this particular tab and now quickly see how to identify the relative size factor testing. So now here it is the purchase data set. So for me, the relevant data is the gross total amount and this supplier. So I need to sort the data first of all. I can do this using Power Query also, but I'm showing you how to use with simple Excel itself. So I will go to supplier. I'm sorting this, and then let us select gross amount. And here select largest to smallest. This supplier can be in ascending, descending, but amount should be in largest to smallest. Let us click OK. So this has been sorted over here. Now let us go to this gross total. I will add one more column over here. And I will simply say relative size factor testing. Now let me hide these columns. And I will start typing formula over here. So now what formula I have to use is largest record in a subset divided by the second largest record. So how do I do that? I will start using if formula. If first I need to identify the supplier. If this supplier is equal to the previous row supplier, then only divide the previous row amount by the current row amount, else show me new party. And then just simply double click this. So all the formulas will get listed. So here you can see this formula is calculating this top number divided by this number. So it is coming in one row only. So now let me go a filter one and let us see at the bottom the highest number will come. So here you can see 18.4. So I can filter out this number. So I've selected this number. So let me unfilter this. I can go to data and unfilter. So why it is appearing as 18.1. So here you can quickly see that. So it is appearing as 6,92,000 and the second highest is appearing 37. So whether this ONGC is coming for a different party. So I can quickly see that even by creating a pivot table, and then you will realize that there are actually two parties of ONGC. Let me create a pivot table. This one. Delete this. Insert a pivot table. Let me select this data set. I will simply select supplier and amount. So where was the gross total? So here immediately you can see there are two parties which has been recorded. So that's why our relative size factor was coming correctly. So this can happen with the different parties also. So like instead of like booking under ONGC, somebody has booked the highest invoices in some another party. So you can quickly identify using this relative size factor testing. You have to simply do this sorting, then identify a ratio between the highest number and the next highest number, and then identify it. Even for this ONGC, we have identified, let us say for another one, 4.1. So this is for ortho tools, and check this. And let us see where it was coming. So here you can see the first highest value was 46,000, second highest was the same. So that's why the ratio was coming. But suddenly it is coming only 9,000 now. So whether it is coming correctly or not, still you can identify this particular number using this relative size factor testing. Okay. So this is clear. I will just delete it. And so let me unhide it. Another quick test I would just wanted to show is the stratification. So let me unhide these columns, which might be even useful for doing the aging analysis, some steps. So now here you can see we have created this pivot tables. We have tried to identify what is the supplier, how much amount is here. But just by looking at the supplier amount, it might be sometimes we might be missing out certain things. So as a best way, when you get a data set, try to stratify amount in a different buckets. So like let us say starting from 0 to 100 rupees, 100 to 9, whatever buckets you want to identify, just try to put it like this. And then try to identify how many amounts are lying in this particular buckets for each of the suppliers. So how do you do that? Again, we will be using a VLOOKUP function. So let me add this column over here. Bucket. Now VLOOKUP. So most of the times you would have used the exact match, but now here the amount will be altogether different in each of the rows. So if you do a false or exact match, VLOOKUP won't work. So you might be wondering, how do I do using VLOOKUP? So there is an option available in VLOOKUP, which will be approximate match. So I've simply selected the amount column over here. I will go to stratification buckets, which is a separate table. I will select this entire one. I will list it down in the ascending order, starting from the bottom till top. So these numbers have been stored in that order. I've selected this stuff, F4, then comma. I will show you formula again. I want this third column, 3, and here instead of exact match, I will say true. and bracket close. Let us quickly look at the formula one more time. So let me zoom in a little bit. So now the formula here, if you see, this is the amount which I've used. This is the table which I've used. This is the column which I want to bring in. And instead of using a 0 over here, I can use 1 or a true over here. And based on that, it will identify the budget. So 4032 will be lying within this particular bucket. So I will simply double click this and all the buckets will come. So this can be useful whenever you are using even for taxation purpose, like slab wise or aging bucket wise on a vendor aging bucket wise. If you want to do it, you can use this approximate match functionality in VLOOKUP. Now I will simply create a pivot table out of this. Again, I'm messed up with the selecting the range. So pivot table to select this entire range. Okay. Now supplier, I can drag it. Stratification, buckets, this one. And let us simply count it. So first of all, let me sort this from descending count of buckets. So here you can quickly see that most of the items are lying in this particular bucket. So let me sort this also. 1000. This, let us see, this I have sorted. So most of the items or purchase items are lying in this particular buckets. These are the outliers for you. So for ONJC, it is having like 0 to 99, less than $100, less than 100 rupees itself. So what these invoices are there, you can simply double click and it will open up in a separate window. So all of these invoices, you can go and cross check why this small number of invoices have been booked in that. So highest values are mostly appearing up over here. So even like this highest value amount or these outliers, you will be able to quickly identify using the buckets, how the trend is appearing up over here. This is not only useful only on the purchase, it can be used in your journal entries, it can be used in your payroll data set, it can be used in your sales data. Whenever you have any amount kind of stuff, you can use this kind of a data set. In general entries, you can use it for the negative side also and positive side also. So this is very useful whenever you have a data set, it will give you a feeler how the data set is actually being distributed. So, and based on that, you can focus your attention. So this is kind of a stratification analysis. You can do it in Excel. Now, the last item which I wanted to discuss was a Benford's law. Probably I won't be able to discuss that, but briefly tell you what this Benford law test is exactly. So now most of the numbers, whenever you see in a purchase register, let us go to amount column. Okay, this is the amount column. So most of the times people may feel that these numbers are starting with 9 or 8 or something of that sort. But actually, whenever the data set is occurring naturally, I'm not saying random numbers, I'm saying natural numbers. So it can be, let us say, a stock price, or let us say volume of stock trades on a particular day, or a purchase register or journal entries, or whatever it may be. Most of the numbers, first digits will be 1 or to 50% of the time. So that is something law which was defined by one of the Benford scientist actually, and based on that he has defined certain tests actually. So each of the number he has calculated a probability, and based on that you can compare how many times that one digit, a number is starting with 1 digit or 2 digits with the standard number. So kind of a benchmark comparison. If certain numbers are appearing more number of times, or let us say there is a threshold, like a voucher has to be approved by a higher authority if it is above 5,000. So most of the time accountants do a voucher of 4,000 rupees or 4,999 so that it doesn't goes to the higher authority. So those kind of instances will get highlighted in the Benford's law. So that entire calculation you can do it using Benford's law only. And the kind of test you can perform is not only on the first digit, it can be on the second digit, it can be on the first 2 digits. So again, advanced tests are like digit summation tests. So the number starting with one number, what is the total of that particular number? If there is a second order test also, there is a duplication test, and last 2 digit test, this you can perform. So if you want to understand more about this one, I would recommend one of the book which is authored by Mark Nigrini. So he has given a lot of detail of step-by-step approach how we can perform this using an Excel or a Microsoft Excel. It is little costly, but definitely it is very useful for your forensic analysis also. So this Benford law is also one of the regular tests which has been actually used by forensic auditor. So I think that's it. Like from my side, probably I will just take a quick questions on this. and then I will quickly tell you the next steps, what you can do it. So any questions, I can take it right now. Abhishek?
Yeah, Abhijit, there are some questions actually.
Sure.
I'll just read it for you.
Yes.
Sir, if there is any error in nested if formula used, is there any option to locate the error, or do we have to find it manually?
Like if there is a error in a if formula, the final
Nested.
Yes. Okay. So you are saying when there are nested ifs and there is any error inside this particular formula, you will have to go by one only. You will have to go through formula evaluations only. And if that formula error is getting displayed, then it will be the final result will be the error only. In nested if formula, you will have to go evaluate and manually only you will have to verify. There is no, as of now, personally, I'm not aware. If somebody is aware, he can add it. But personally, I will go through all the logics of that nested if formulas.
It is generally observed that people make the mistakes in that brackets. That is a major mistake.
Correct.
And secondly, you must not forget that comma syntax. If you miss out one, then it becomes difficult. That's why I always advise when you use nested if, go one by one and keep testing so that you only have to correct the last if actually.
Yeah. So there is actually one best practices which I normally follow. So let us say my input and output, I will just quickly tell you. So my input is text. Output is also a text. Then use the if formula. But let us say my inputs are numbers. Output is also numbers. Then don't use if formula. Start to use min, max, this kind of function. Most of the times I have seen like in GST formulas also, or anywhere also, if your input and outputs are min numbers only, start to using this numeric formulas. Minimum, maximum, division. So you can build in all the if conditions inside this min and max formulas itself, and then it is very easier to identify or locate the errors itself. So that is one thing. Second thing is, if you are using for a text one, let us say if you let us say if Abhay is there and you want to display 1 or 2 or something like this, something is let us say this name is appearing, you want to display some number. So instead of putting this nested if inside this formula, try to create a separate table and then start using the VLOOKUP formula for this. VLOOKUP or index match formula. Then you can have like whatever numbers appears, you can simply do a VLOOKUP on that another table. So even you can use the index formulas, you can have a matrix also. So even if there are nested ifs, you can create a matrix table, let us say WIRC like this. You want to display SIRC, if it is something, you want to display some different number. So in this kind of a matrix visual, don't use again if formula. Start using index and match formula for this one, I would say. So these are certain best practices I recommend for nested ifs.
Yeah. How to calculate percentage, average, etc. in pivot table? I think there is an option known as value field settings where you can change that.
Yes.
So you can show it on the screen, Abhay.
Sure. So I will quickly open this single sheet. Let us say I'm using this as a source. I will simply go to insert, create a pivot table. Now let us say by customer wise, I want to identify the highest sales amount lower. This can be also very useful for your analysis purpose. I will simply drag sales amount. This is the total customer wise. I will drag sales amount one more time and then simply click on this drop down values field. I can say average. So average of this customer is getting displayed. If I drag sales amount one more time, I can have a minimum, maximum also. So this can be also give you a good idea how that particular sales is appearing for that particular customer. So let us say minimum, maximum. This will give you a little idea like how the sales have been done for that particular customer. So average, minimum, maximum. You can simply right click any of the field instead of using it over here. You can go to value field setting and from here you can change it. Standard deviations. So if you are knowing about mathematics, how to use standard deviations, so that also you can use it from this one.
How to merge two tables in Power Pivot? Example, vendor master and vendor outstanding.
Good question actually. So let me take an example. Now here I will just copy these two files. Let me first of all create a blank file. So let us say there are two things actually which you are asking. So I will just copy this particular table into blank sheet over here. And let me copy this one more time. So now I've copied the data into two different sheets. First thing is I want to merge the data or I want to append the data. So there are two different things. When I say append the data, append means like data one, data coming from one thing and data coming from another one. So this is like one below another, you are putting the data. This is called as appending. And when you say merge the data set, it is like you are doing a VLOOKUP data one with data two, something of that sort. So here the number of rows gets increased and here the number of columns get increased. So now when you say master data, I have the vendor master and I have the sales data, or let us say purchase data for the vendor. I want to bring in, let us say GSTN number or let us say city or something of that sort. That time you will be merging it. So now for the time being, I will just add. First of all, I will show append one. I will go to data. I will have to add this both of the data into Power Query. I will select from table. Let us say table one. I will click close and load to. I won't load back to Excel sheet. I will simply create a connection. This table has been added. It has been not loaded anywhere. I will add this second table also from table and range. And let us say table 2. This also I will click close and load to. Only create a connection. So both the tables data has been loaded. Now I want to first of all append the data. So I can go to get data from other combined queries. So there are two options. So I will simply select append the data. I will say 3 or more tables if you have that. Table 1, select. Table 2, below that table 2. I will click OK. A new query will get created. Appended data. So this entire data set has been added. So let me click close, and this time I will click close and load. A new data will get, a new sheet will get created. So here you can see 4,000 rows has been added. So even if I later on I go and add any additional rows, I don't have to do it manually again. I will simply select this stuff. Let us say I've added. I can simply go back to this file. I will simply click refresh. Additional rows will get automatically added. So here you can see 4,006 rows has been added. So let us imagine that for this customer one in this particular table, I have now let us say let me create a new table itself. Select this one. I will put it over here. Let me remove the duplicates. So imagine that this is a master table for me. Create a master table where the region is getting displayed. So I will simply remove this region from this previous table. This second sheet also I will simply remove it. So here I don't have the region information. Now if I go and click on this particular query which I have created, if I refresh it, that okay, so the region error will come up. Let me go to this error because we have deleted that region column. That's why it is coming error over here. I will have to change it. So this step, once you start learning it, you will be able to identify. Let me close this. Right click, refresh it. Now here you don't have the region information. So in same way, you can have a region, you can have a mobile number, whatever customer ID, whatever additional fields you have. Now this information you want to bring in. So you can normally bring in using a VLOOKUP, but instead of that, you want to bring that using a Power Query. How do you do that? So I will have to load this data also into Power Query. Click table and merge. Now this is not only useful for bringing the data, it can be useful for GST reconciliation also, like GST at 2A, all that you can do it using this stuff. I will click close and load to. Only create a connection. So this customer table has been loaded. So now in this append data, I will just double click and open that in Power Query. Now I will go to merge queries and here my existing query data for this appended is getting displayed. From this drop down, I will select customer. Now common column is here, customer, customer one. It can have a multiple columns also. You can select just by selecting these multiple columns. If you don't have to concatenate just like in Excel, you have to go AND function. You don't have to do that in Power Query. Multiple columns is also fine. So I've selected both the columns over here. Let us say inner matching rows only. So whatever matching rows are there, I will select. This is the type of join. I'm selecting wherever the matching data, bring me back. So let us click OK. A new column will get added. I will click this expand one. Customer column is already there, so I don't want that. Now, if there are multiple columns, I would have selected multiple columns. Whichever columns I don't want, I unselect that. Region only I want, I have selected. This one I don't want. Let us click OK. And immediately you can see this region has been displayed. So let me close and load. This additional column will also get automatically appended over here. So this region column, you can do a merge query. So this is adding a number of columns, not adding number of rows. So let us say if I change this customer one to, let us say SIRC or whatever number, or this will be a WIRC. I have changed this over here, so I don't have to redo it again. So I can simply come back to this my query. I can right click and refresh it. Automatically that will get displayed over here. So let us see where we have changed it. For customer 2. Customer 2. Let us see. So here you can see immediately it has been changed. So this way you can merge and append the data using Power Query. So I hope I have answered this.
Yes, yes, Abhay. Abhishek, you can also check if there are anything. I'm just not able to find any.
Yeah, we have covered, Chairman.
Okay, any other question if there is anything?
No, we have covered. I've just checked it.
Yeah.
Everything has been covered.
Panarad sir, you want to add something before we go for the closure? Sir, unmute yourself, Panarad sir. Please unmute.
One thing, just quickly tell you like what are the next step, like what I wanted to recommend. Like these two books you can refer, Chetan Datta from Mumbai and Mark Nigrini. So both of these books are really useful for forensic audits. I've read both of the books. A lot of the steps which I've actually explained it to you are coming from those books. For Excel related one, Bill Jellens, definitely you can use it. If you want to learn more about this, you can also look at my YouTube channels. Most of this stuff I've already uploaded. Without files, definitely I've uploaded over there as well, additional stuff. So over to you, sir. Dungar sir, Panna sir.
Yeah, thank you, Abhayji. Panarad sir, last remarks. That yeah.
Yes, it was really very lucid, even though the subject is so wide, and you could do a great justice within 2 hours, and that shows your command over the subject and the capability to present the things. So thank you very much on behalf of the SIRC sir. And I, even though I could not follow fully, definitely I could grasp that, and I could sense that I can definitely do it. That's the confidence I could get by attending this webinar, and that's the way you have presented. It's a great thing, and by seeing the number of queries, the interest our members have taken in this is very evident, which I think is a very great success for the SIRC, and because a special compliments to my chairman, because he has always he did not keep up his words of teaching me the Excel in the last 3 years in the council. This is the 4th year, but somehow I learned due to COVID some basics, and now you have added value, and I'll show my chairman for not having taught me. And thank you very much for this excellent presentation, sir.
Panarad sir, it is always like when you see Tendulkar hitting 6, it looks very easy. Let me add, a lot of things goes as practice before the match is played. So I request members to do a lot of practices, workings that will kind of enhance your skills. Thank you, Abhayji. It was indeed a super presentation. I think you did full justice in that limited 2 hours. I think there's a lot of value additions, and people can relook into the recordings whenever it will be available, so that whatever they were not able to follow, they can kind of follow it, and whatever is not available, as Abhayji said, things are available over net, and a lot of materials are available which can be use for the references.
It would be good if he can share his mail ID for clarifying the doubts.
Yeah.
Of any of the members.
Yes, we'll be sending it to the email in the feedback form, which we send separately. We will save it. The email ID of the speaker is also sent. Yes. Abhishek, over to you for a quick vote of thanks. We have overshot by 20 minutes.
Yes, thank you so much, Chairman. Thank you, Pannaraj sir, for a lovely closing address. And also, great thanks to CA Abhay Gadia, who gave a lovely presentation and a demo. He's able to take through our members through the demo to work on it. Very, very useful. And I'm sure you'll be getting a lot more questions when people send personally also. Thank you so much, Abhayji, for taking time out of the schedule. Also, quickly to announce, anybody who has not registered for a GST workshop, we have a refresher course starting on Monday, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. This is from Monday to Thursday. We have very, very leading speakers and faculty who will be taking the session. We request everybody to please register and join for the program on this GST refresher workshop. So thank you all, and hope to see you on Monday at the GST workshop. So stay home, stay safe, and wish you all a good weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Meantime, I'm typing the speaker's email ID right in chat box. It is gadiaabhay.ce@gmail.com. Abhayji, so you will get feedbacks and queries directly so that you can kind of handle the members, please.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot to feedback. Thanks a lot, sir.
Yeah, Abhayji, anything else you want to add?
Nothing. That's it. Like from my side.
Chalo, thank you so much, all of you. Thank you. As Abhishek said, stay safe, stay careful. See that you are kind of taking good care of yourself and the immunity. Thank you all.
Thanks.